And this is for us a good introduction to the next speaker, who is Mr. Boni, who I welcome up on the stage here. Mr. Boni, thank you so much for also joining us today, for accepting to come and talk to us. You're a member of the European Parliament and was the shadow rapporteur of ISA². You have a long-lasting experience with labor and social policies in Poland, and you were a minister responsible for the administration and digitization, which allowed you a deep understanding of the importance of interoperability to apply successfully national policies. So we will hear you present your vision for interoperability here today, and why it's so important for the European level. Thank you very much for joining me. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the invitation. Dear colleagues, I think that this is a very important conference because after some months of debates in the European Parliament and cooperation between Parliament, Commission and Council, we have approved ISA² project, and we hope that this project will be very important for improvement of the situation at the area of interoperability. What is the real reason of the importance of the interoperability in general, especially ISA² project? The future of the economy, all kinds of developments are related to the digital game changer in Europe in coming years. There are two key drivers: adequate infrastructure as fast internet, high-performance computing centers, storages, clouds, and the possibilities and the rules for data processing and sharing. Those two key drivers require the proper interoperability and standardization, and as a result can guarantee the connectivity. There is no possibility to have Internet of Things or Internet of Everything for everybody, Industry 4.0, car-connected business, the shift paradigm in the healthcare area, the overcoming of geo-blocking and making the portability one of the issues supporting access to the digital content without connectivity based on the interoperability. But on the other hand, there is no possibility to improve and modernize all kinds of public services, also administrative services, without using the interoperable digital tools and interoperable and standardized solutions. This is the opportunity to establish the new model of public services, more transparent, more efficient, more simplified, more interactive, more user-friendly, and first of all, oriented on citizens and business needs. The transparency of governing is the added value and can involve people to the decision-making processes and give them the real possibility to participate in the public affairs. This is the new opportunity for participatory democracy. But open government and citizens and business involvement in public area can be possible under one key condition: the interoperability, which will be able to guarantee the real connectivity. There are 6 key digital technologies to watch due to the last report, Digital Dividends, made by the World Bank. And they have the potential to change completely the model of the economy, the public and the private life. There are 5th generation 5G mobile phones, the artificial intelligence, robotics, autonomous vehicles, Internet of Things, and 3D printing. Could you imagine the global development of those key technologies without interoperability. So the interoperability is fundamental background for the effective and efficient connectivity. Interoperability is the heart of the connectivity, and the connectivity is the background for inclusive, innovative, efficient digital technologies in service to all public goods. I want to emphasize three key questions related to the interoperability. Firstly, what does the interoperability mean? Interoperability is the ability of different information technology systems and software applications to communicate, exchange the data, and use the information that has been exchanged. Data exchange schema and standards should permit data to be shared across. There are three levels of information technology at the interoperability area. Foundational interoperability allows data exchange from one information technology system to be received by another and does not require the ability for the receiving information technology system to interpret the data. Structural, in which interoperability is intermediate level that defines the structure of format of data exchange, for example, the message format standards, where the uniform movement of data is preserved and unaltered. Structural interoperability defines the syntax of the data exchange. It ensures that data exchange between information technology systems can be interpreted at the data field level. And the semantic level, interoperability provides interoperability at the higher level, which is the ability of two or more systems and elements to exchange information and to use the information that has been exchanged. Semantic interoperability takes advantage of both the structuring of the data exchange and the codification of the data, including vocabulary, so that the receiving information technology systems can interpret the data. The key is to have standardization, which ensures interoperability, lowers costs, and enhanced safety. European standards are developed by business and other stakeholders. Some facts. 2,772 is a sum of years of experience of all EU institutions working on standards. 1 billion euros is the annual cost of standardization in Europe. There are 60,000 experts across Europe working on standards. Interoperability is a crucial factor in the success of modern technologies and its market demand that has ensured that interoperability holds a prominent position in standardization. Complex products and systems are often based on multiple standards from several standards-making organizations. In addition, standards themselves need to be designed and tested to ensure that products and services complying with them do indeed achieve interoperability. The ISA² program will support and promote work done with member state administrations, with standardization organizations, and with other partners to foster interoperability and the use of standards. The assessment, update and promotion of existing common specifications and standards and the development, establishment and promotion of new common specifications and standards through the Union's standardization platforms and in cooperation with European or international standardization organizations as appropriate. And the needs and requirements of the European small business, which should be performed as quickly and as efficiently as possible, because interoperability is also for small business. Secondly, why it is so important at the European level as a European solution. this interoperability. At European level, many union policy areas, as Commissioner Oettinger mentioned it, depend on interoperability. Many new solutions, many new opportunities would become useless without key pillars of digital development, and one of those pillars is the idea, legislative framework, and practical schemes of the interoperability. The European project ISA² will support the solutions which ensure the open cohesion way of transferring the data in the framework for administrative services oriented at business, administration, and civic society associations and activities. It is impossible to imagine the modern cooperation with deficits at the area of simplified, in the technical and semantic dimensions, possibilities for exchanging all kinds of data. European Parliament insisted on the social and economic aspects of the interoperability, such as delivering public services in a way that presents the digital divide, being inclusive in their construction by creating communities around the solutions and frameworks, ensuring a maximum of synergies with other Union initiatives. European Parliament focused also on taking into account the particular needs of the citizens, SMEs and micro-enterprises when they act as end users of the solutions developed by the ISA² program. Thirdly, how to ensure the interoperability in the developing digital revolution. In a world of converging yet diverse technologies, complex ICT systems must communicate and interwork on all levels. This is interoperability. ISA² as a new program, also as a continuation, based on earlier experiences, should be a central point of reference and an instrument enabling the ICT-based modernization of the public sector in Europe and consequently a valuable contribution to achieve the digital single market goals. There is no silver bullet to achieving interoperability, nor is there an optimal level of interoperability that can be applied to all ICT situations. Rather, a case-by-case analysis of the market and incentive structures, technological landscape, and involvement of governments, among other things, is necessary to understand what approaches may be most useful to a given technology or industry. Europe has a role to play, primarily to ensure that the needs and requirements of the European SMEs are met as quickly, as I have mentioned earlier, and as efficiently as possible. When I was looking at the program of today's conference, it was clear that our way to improve the interoperability in Europe is related to efforts made by particular member states. There are many experiences and good practices which can and need to be disseminated. They are related to many areas, to the public services. One of the key areas for the future development and at the same time important for consumers, users, is healthcare area. What are the relations between healthcare area changes and interoperability? Healthcare systems are increasingly dependent on information and communication to deliver high-quality care to European patients. The impact of standards is particularly important as standards may provide for a technical means to tackle the lack of harmonization at other levels, for example, legal and institutional across member states. While e-health tools and services are now widespread and have been revolutionizing the healthcare sector in recent years, all those health authorities, hospitals, or doctors have selected and implemented their own individual systems. This situation requires to ensure that these systems are able to communicate with each other, and it would offer significant benefits in healthcare across the European Union. The absence of regulations or standards that mandate interoperability among mHealth solutions and devices limits the scope of innovation and economies of scale to be achieved. It has also a negative impact on ease of use and limits scalability. The lack of the proper interoperability at the European level is one of the key barriers. All kinds of interoperability, cross-border, semantic, legal, organizational, and technical. We need an action which contributes to the development of an appropriate EU-wide framework for standards, interoperability testing, and certification of e-health system. We should continue initiating the cross-border solutions that are key to the improvement of interoperability, establishment of open standards for interoperability, especially for healthcare systems interoperability in the EU, checking the possibilities of healthcare support in the area of interoperability in the EU project ISA², checking what kind of solutions we need at the legislative level and what kind of actions and practical implementations are required. It should be crucial both at the EU level and in member states to ensure interoperability of mHealth solutions by means of the electronic health records. In general, you know, it also requires portability. And the final point, as we can see, there is no way forward to use the digital potential in Europe. There is no future without interoperability as some kind of guarantee for digital by default. So to all of you, best wishes and be successful, because the significance of your successes at the area of interoperability implementation will have the impact for as entrepreneurs, as workers, as users, as citizens, as consumers, as patients, successes in many areas. Thank you very much.